In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly
and Andrew Fiore.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hey there, Defenders. This is one of your hosts, Sean Donnelly, here to tell you if you could just please rate, review, and subscribe to the show. We would really appreciate it. It helps the show immensely. Tell your friends about the show. Do whatever you can do to spread the word about your favorite podcast, my favorite podcast. Andy, is it your favorite podcast?
You never include me in these things.
Help us out, guys, and we'll see you next week. And here's this week's show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Defend Your Movie. This is one of your hosts. My name is Andy Fiore, joined, as always, by my co-host, the year older, Sean Donnelly, everybody. Happy birthday, Sean.
Hey! Yes, I am a year older, and I am none wiser, and I'm 42 now, and it really doesn't do much for you. Like, there's no, I gotta be honest, when I became 40, I felt 40, but 42, not so much. But yes, I'm excited, Defenders, for you guys listening to this episode. It's actually a great one, and we have a great guest, super funny comic, has a new album coming out very, very shortly. We love him. He's a stalwart of the New York comedy scene. Sam Evans, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you guys doing? Thanks.
How are you, man? Yeah, thanks for doing this. How is your quarantine going, Sam? I think everybody just has to ask that every Zoom show. Yeah. You must ask.
Nice
what
Zoom
are you
etiquette
doing in the quarantine. Yeah. Zoom etiquette. Yeah.
People put that extra tone on it where they're like, "No, how are you though?"
Yeah. Are you taking care of yourself?
Yeah.
So you actually let us know that I don't know if you can say this or not. We can edit it out if not, but you're at your day job right now.
Yeah.
But that's actually, the reason I brought it up is because you have a different scenario. Like, you're actually getting out of your house to go to work, which is like, I wish a million people probably wish they were doing that right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's actually like crazy how much I like it because I don't feel scared. Nobody's been here for 2 months. So I'm just by myself in an office space. And honestly, when you're in your living room or your bedroom every day with your girlfriend, my love, it's just nice to have so much space to no one but myself. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, you can you run a marathon in that place.
Absolutely.
So we're usually, the way we do Defend Your Movies, we match up. We haven't done this in a while, Andy. We haven't actually had
a one-on-one
matchup, and we have one today, and it's a good one.
It's
but before
a doozer.
We get to it, we want to go to what did you watch? I watched something that I forgot, and I didn't have time to remember. And Andy has a couple of things.
I watched 2 things. One I loved. One was okay. I'll start with the okay one first. Just out of boredom, I was on Amazon Prime. If anybody else wants to watch it, it's The Lincoln Lawyer with Matthew McConaughey, Bryan Cranston.
Oh, yeah.
What's the guy's name who's married to Felicity Huffman? And I love him. And I can't.
William H. Macy?
William H. Macy, thank you. Fun little cast. Good little movie. I enjoyed it. Matthew McConaughey, kind of this very schemy lawyer. The Lincoln Lawyer is basically, he just drives around in a Lincoln Continental all day and does a lot of his work from the back seat. That's really the only point to the title. It has no bearing on the plot whatsoever other than he's in a Lincoln.
I thought it was like a period piece when you said that.
It's not at all. So did I. But no, it takes place in L.A. like a few years ago. And it's Ryan Phillippe. It's a cool kind of twisty plot. And I won't give anything away because it will definitely blow the movie for some people, but I would recommend it. It was a fun quarantine watch, Shawnee.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think it was the first thing that the first thing that led him to be the actor that he is now? Like, I think there was a moment in McConaughey's career where he was doing like Fool's Gold with Kate Hudson, and he was like, I can't. Like,
this is doing a rom-com like every 2 weeks. He was doing
rom-com, which is nothing wrong with that, but I mean, like, it's just he was
getting typecast, though.
He was getting typecast. He became like he flipped the switch on his the view of him was. What his
Sure.
Not persona, but like he did Wolf of Wall Street. He did Dallas Buyers Club. I don't know which came first, Lincoln Lawyer or Dallas. I feel like Dallas Buyers
Lincoln
Club.
Lawyer was 2011. Dallas Buyers was 2013. So yeah, this might have switched for him to more dramatic.
Yeah.
When did True? Because I just watched the first season of True Detective, and that was like a huge.
That did it
had
for
to
him
be
too.
2011, 2012 era too.
Yeah.
That's when he really started becoming like that guy. That
Yes.
like that, almost like really eclectic, really out there, like taking chances with roles. Because I've heard Lincoln Lawyer. It's like it's an odd movie to do, but
It was good. I enjoyed it.
So I just feel like that's the first time that like. He's like, where it's like it's almost like getting grittier, I guess you could say, or getting more realistic in the roles that you're taking,
Yeah.
And what was the thing that you didn't like that you watched, Andy?
Well, no, that was the one. I liked both of the things I watched this week. One I loved, and Lincoln Lawyer. It was fine. It was great.
You know what I'm starting to realize? Remember how he said Greg Stone on the show that he likes every movie? I think you might be the same way.
No, not at all. Greg will watch something, and it's in his head, and it's his favorite movie of all time.
Oh, right. But I don't think I've ever.
I dislike a lot of things.
I guess you do. Yeah, you do dislike a lot of things.
I'm just being honest.
There's a lot of movies you're like, yeah, good little movie. It's not bad. Not
I
bad.
do say good little movie. That could be the Defend Your Movie drinking game for those looking. Anytime Andy says good little movie, take a shot. No, it was both movies I liked this week, but the second one that I watched that I really enjoyed was Den of Thieves.
Is that with 50 Cent?
Yeah, he's in it, but he's kind of a side character. He's not the lead at all. It's 2018. It's on Netflix.
Is Wahlberg in it?
Gerard Butler is kind of the main star, I would say. It's basically a gang of like kind of rogue LA cops who are like detectives, and then versus these bank robbers, this heist crew. And O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube's kid, is in it. And it's a really cool plot. And you really don't see the twists and turns coming. And just like a fun heist movie. And for quarantine, it was a great Netflix find. Because I'm running out of things to watch here, Shawnee.
Well, I'll tell you, you're right. And it's good, because I'll check it out now because you told me that. Because a lot of the time, those types of movies can end up being like one-off. Like somehow they just miraculously didn't get straight to video or straight to digital.
Right.
Like for those, what I'm saying? Like a lot of them become like, they're like Blockbuster type, like the video store, not Blockbuster, the Blockbuster. Like a lot of those can be like, they end up being cookie cutters of the things from before. So it's cool to know that it has a story, like an original story and stuff like that. Because because normally I gravitate towards those crime movies. And sometimes it pays off, like with Widows. Did you guys ever see Widows?
I didn't see Widows, no.
I liked Widows.
And that's one of those movies that you're like, you're not thinking much from it, but it's a
good little movie.
It's a good little movie. And like Andy Fiore says, good little movie. Did you watch anything this week, Sam Evans?
I did. I completely by accident. I watched two different Willem Dafoe vehicles.
Really?
Yeah. One I absolutely hated, and one I loved. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I hated The Lighthouse. I thought it was really bad. I thought it was garbage. I
haven't watched it yet because I think I like those. I like Willem Dafoe, and I don't want to think it's too pretentious of a movie.
Yes, and that is that. The long, I won't go into it, but the long and the short of it was just way too pretentious for me. Like halfway through it, I was like, "This is just to make everything seem deeper," and it bugged me.
Yeah. If you had asked me about that movie, if I had seen it at 21 when I was like really into movies, I would have been like, "This is a beautiful masterpiece."
Yeah.
To sound smarter than you are. Yeah.
It's like
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I liked Donnie Darko. I thought that was a good movie, but sometimes when you talk for that movie about that movie for too long, it's clear that it's just for people to feel deep. You know what I mean?
Right. So many movies like that.
Yeah. And so you absolutely, because a lot of people like The Lighthouse, but it might be a lot of people trying to sound more of a cinephile, which apparently cinephile doesn't mean movies. It means that somebody who like is obsessed with dogs or an expert on dogs or something.
Really?
I saw that online and I was like, oh, somebody wrote like, I thought that was an expert on movies, but maybe it's different spelling because cinephile I think I think you can be a cinephile with movies. CINE, right?
That's the right way.
PHILE, right?
Yeah.
Cinephile. Yeah. Okay.
That's the right definition.
But I think when it comes to the movie you just said, The Lighthouse, I think a lot of people must go see it and go, well, if I'm smart, I'm supposed to like this movie.
Yeah, I have to like it.
I have to like it just because I think also, and Sam, you're younger than me and Andy. I don't know how old you are, but like, I know you're younger. Like, I think at your age more, but like, I'm at the point now where I can be more honest about the things that I'm just an idiot about. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, I used to never say that. I used to fake it all the time. I'd be like, I didn't get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like, or saying like, I like movies with, I like Fast and the Furious. Like, I'll just say whatever.
Yeah.
Or I'll talk about the genius of Fast and the Furious movies, and I'll really mean it because I do think there's a genius to them. But it's not why you'd think. But when it comes to things like The Lighthouse, that's probably why I haven't checked it out, because I think I'd have the same opinion as you.
Took
where
me
I'm
a while
like,
to get there.
I'm not the things I've seen with Robert Pattinson. I'm not that. He's so. You want to talk about a white boy? Jesus Christ, what a fucking white boy! It's like, dude, you're fucking boring. Him and his ex-girlfriend, didn't he date Kristen Stewart for a while? Like,
yeah.
They
Watch
both look
Good Time though. Good Time's pretty good with him.
Put them next to each other. They look like American Gothic. They're just depressed looking people.
He's kind of in the middle. I think he's attempting, what we were talking about earlier, which is like Matthew McConaughey's turnaround, right? And now he's got all this buzz where people are like, but he's very good. And I got to tell you, in The Lighthouse, I was not impressed.
Right, exactly. So it's like, it's hard. Acting is not easy. Like, to be a good actor that stands out and really gets a lot of notoriety. But if you
like
your talent,
if you like Uncut Gems, watch the Safdie brothers' first movie, Good Time, and that might turn you on Robert Pattinson because he's pretty good in that. He's the lead.
I still need to see both of those. Yeah.
I do like Uncut Gems. I was just it's funny. My roommate, he goes. I go, oh, maybe I'll watch Uncut Gems. And I go, because Uncut Gems is so thrilling that you're like, it keeps you on the edge of your seat pretty much.
Good Time is the same pacing.
It's like, it has like a physical reaction to it, but he didn't know what I meant. So he was talking to his girlfriend and he was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch it because my roommate made a noise when I told him about it. But he didn't ask any follow-up questions like, what does that noise mean? He was just like,
my roommate heart murmurs.
Yeah. So... I'll check out Good Time. But,
it is paced the same way. They have a definitive pacing style, the Safdie brothers, for sure. I go, these are the exact same guys. It's just like nonstop, kind of anxiety-inducing, And
the reason I love it, and I'll tell you right now, Sam, hard to do. The way they pace these movies, I can only imagine what the script looks like, and it's really it's a feat in able to pull that off because. I don't know how you could make that make sense as a story if it was written on a paper. Do you know what I mean? But they write and direct it, so they probably have a lot of ad-libbing going on. Who knows? But but it's pretty interesting if you watch Uncut Gems. What was the thing that you hit love that you liked?
The other Willem Dafoe.
Oh man! Just last night, Carmen and I watched the Florida Project. Holy shit! Oh, I thought it was so good. I really loved it. Yeah,
I couldn't stand it.
You hated it?
I hated it. There's one. Chalk one up to the hatred scale. I just thought it was just no point. I just go, what am I watching this for? What the hell is going on? It's just
not a good little movie.
People.
Not a good little movie.
You didn't like the kid. I thought the
kids were great little actors, but I just go, why should I give a fuck?
I didn't even
finish it.
I was so impressed with their acting that afterwards I looked into it and was reading all these interviews because I was like, I wonder if he's just telling these kids to act like kids, to go play, and then he's filming it. And a lot of that shit was not the case. It's like this young girl who's just a crazy good actor, or at least can act like a kid, And I was just blown away. And just Willem Dafoe, I think, had so many years where he was typecast as the bad guy, especially in The Lighthouse. And he just gets to play perfectly just the one redeeming quality in the movie. He's like a good guy. He saves these kids from a pedophile. No, I don't want to spoil the movie, but he's just a good guy.
He's also gets redeemed in John Wick. So, that happens.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true.
That is true. Should we get to the meats and the Pete's, my friend?
He is good. Sergeant Elias, too, is a good guy.
In what?
Platoon.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah.
No, he goes back and forth. He's a good actor. He's a really good actor.
Great
actor.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Do you want to go? Should we go to the meats and the potatoes?
Let's get to the meats and the peats.
We have a great matchup for you guys today. We haven't done one in a while. It's one, if you listen to the podcast, if you're a defender, if you're out there and you're a defender, you'll know that I have feelings about strong feelings in the negative way about one of these movies, and you'll know you'll know that. You don't know my opinion on the other one. We're doing Baby Driver, which I've spoken about. And I've spoken about, in like a way where I'm like, I don't know if I like it, which then I decided I didn't. And then versus with the Ryan Gosling movie Drive. I'm sorry, Driver. I'm just used to saying Baby Driver. The Ryan Gosling movie Drive. I think it's a perfect matchup as far as two movies go. And
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm very passionate the idea that I do like Drive a lot as a movie. Not that I'm saying it's perfect. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but Baby Driver, I think missed its mark over and over and over again. And I don't get. This is the thing. I don't like Baby Driver, and I've watched it 3 times because it's come on cable just to figure out why I don't like it.
So this isn't your standard like I didn't like that movie. You're like no. I'm going to learn about it.
Well, that's kind of how I feel. I'm going to let you guys kind of take the reins on this one because I'm lukewarm on both of these. So
really?
I think I enjoyed both of these the first time around.
Well, here's the thing, Sam. You're a guest. I want to open up to you. Your opening arguments on what. Here's the thing. You told us you like Drive. That happens a lot with the matchups, but you enjoy watching Baby Driver more. Let me ask you why would that be the case?
I know that I really disagree completely. I think it works in so many ways. I love just from everything about it, the soundtrack, the way that the soundtrack interacts with the movie. I'm a big fan of Edgar Wright, the director, and this was like his first jump from like comedies. So
what else did he do? You know what? It shows. It definitely shows.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
So Edgar Wright is the guy behind Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, or not behind. He's the guy who made those movies with him. So what is it? Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Right. Movies that I like a lot. Yeah.
Yes, they're great. And that I think what you're seeing in this one, and I can see how it didn't work for you, but for me, I loved it. It's just him taking that sort of directing style and putting it in an action movie. Because for him, in those comedies, what's great is he himself as the director is funny. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of visual gags in and around Shaun of the Dead. And then I think it's just him plugging that style. And you see it a lot in, the walking scene in the beginning where he's going to get coffee, right? And he's walking down the street and all of the lyrics of the song are like interacting with stuff that he's walking by. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, the way I feel about it is, so if I wanted to go general and I wanted to make my main point is that it's Drive light to me. It's Drive light. Like it's one of those things where because it's trying to be deep at times. It does have that lightheartedness to it, and I do think that's done on purpose. But there's a lot of things that bug me about Baby Driver. The soundtrack is good. I love the fact they used John Spencer Blues Explosion, that big song they have. It's a great song. And I also, when I first saw it, I didn't hear the song in 10 years when I came on. Yeah. But so soundtrack-wise, it's good. But I'll tell you, man, you want to talk about matching mood with a fucking movie. Drive, it looks like the movie created the soundtrack, which I think it might have been written for it, but like it fits in so well.
I do like the soundtrack in Drive. Yeah.
Two things I think you can match.
Movies could be brother sequels in some way.
Absolutely. Two things that you can match up. The opening scenes to show what these guys. So obviously, both of these guys are amazing drivers. They're used, and they fall into a world of bank robberies because that's where their talents
sort
are
of
most
weird, affable loners kind of.
Both
exactly.
kind of have
both with
moral
dark backgrounds
that guides them.
So where it can be matched up is the opening scenes in both movies. And to me, the Drive opening scene with him with like him. I love the fact that he's not in on the job with those guys. He just hired to drive. He picks up those guys from the robbery, and they don't even know what's going on. And just the soundtrack mixed with what he's doing in that opening scene to get away from the cops, and it's so much smoother to me than what happens in Baby Driver. And I know there's weird parts in Baby Driver where they're like, "What are you doing? You're trying to get away from the cops. You're going, whatever it is." Where it's like you're almost like, "Trust me, I know what I'm doing." Like it's like that's what if it was a Lethal Weapon movie. That's what he would say. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. It'd be like that kind of thing. Like, I'm too old for this shit. Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Like, you're too young for this shit.
Yeah. So when it comes to right away, when the movies start, don't get me wrong, man. Movies have a tone. Drive has a darker tone. But the opening scenes of both of those movies, they're trying to convey the same thing to you: is watch how good this guy is at what he's doing, and also they're almost explaining character just with no dialogue. They're showing you in action what the guy's known for, what the title of the freaking movie is, and they're going to go, okay, buckle in because this is a really cool. We're going to show you how cool this scene is to dictate how the rest of the movie is. And in one of the movies, it gets really dark and really, really, really intense. Which in Drive, it gets really intense, and they do a lot more with showing a lot less. I think that Baby Driver. There's other things that bug me about it. I don't want to go off on a tangent. I want to give you a chance to talk about it. But like, as far as cast goes, I think the kid that's in it, he's the kid from what's his name? Where's he from again?
Ansel Elgort.
Yeah, he's in it from a movie you like, right, Andy? What's he from again?
No, well, he was in the movie that I reviewed last week, The Goldfinch.
Right.
Luke.
Not a huge fan. Ryan Gosling, I think, is a guy who keeps his street cred as an actor while also being a heartthrob. He kind of figured that out. He pulled off
line. Yeah.
The strong silent type. I think he pulled off way better than this kid does in Baby Driver. Other cast wise, even though Kevin Spacey, I'm not supposed to say he's good in something anymore, but I think he's good because he plays Kevin Spacey being an asshole. Which it's like what's that movie? Swimming with Sharks. Kevin Spacey, where he's just a dickhead, but then also shows some heart in it. I'll tell you what, and then I'll give it to you as far as we're going back and forth on cast here. What ruined it for me, and I've said this before on the podcast, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
John Hamm being shitty in this movie doesn't even ruin it for me. Jamie Foxx is what ruins this fucking movie for me. This weird, like, doesn't fit into the group type, it considers himself a professional robber, but isn't, like, weird hothead thug type. It's this weird character where you're like, dude, this guy's so smart to hire a Baby Driver, but he's dumb enough to keep this other guy on every job that he does. And this guy,
you know what I always feel like Jamie Foxx does in a lot of movies? It's like he comes in and he's got the idea of how he's going to play the role.
Sure.
And that's what he's going to do no matter what. It's like, well, maybe the director had a different idea. He goes, no, I made my mind up. I'm going to do it.
It's funny you say that because I think that's exactly what happens, especially when you have a big star like Jamie Foxx. I think he gets to a point in a movie like that, he's like, I want to do what I want. And that director, I hate to say it, a big name, but he didn't. The only people that can tell him what to do is like on Django Unchained, apparently there's a story where he started acting real with a lot of bravado, but he's delivering lines as Django with a lot of bravado, and Tarantino stops and goes, "Stop! What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?" He's like, "You're a slave. You just got act like how you would act, how this guy would act." And then he had to change it to what he does in the movie. And Django Unchained, he's great. Django Unchained, he's fucking great.
Really
because Django Unchained, he comes into his own as the movie, like he's gaining his confidence. In this movie, he's just this weird hothead and just breaks this kid's balls for no reason.
Yeah, I don't love him as
it's not like there's no redeemable part to him in the movie. Not that there has to do with every character, but it just didn't mesh well with me with the rest of the movie. Like it didn't. Like there's no. There's this. His motive to act like that, I don't get it. His motive to turn around and be that guy when he's everybody. The whole goal of the thing is to pull off this job, these jobs. Like I don't get it. Like if you're going to be the cowboy of the group, it's supposed to be done in a different way in these bank robber movies.
Okay, counterpoint. I see your point. He's completely like over the top as the villain and everything. But for me, I like a villain that is just a villain. I don't really need any complexity out of him. I like a villain that you could just hate because you accept that he's that villain. And I think that Jamie Foxx's character choice, whether and I do agree with you, he comes in ready to play it, how he'll play it. I do think it meshes well with the movie because Baby Driver, it is like a heist driver getaway movie, but it's one of those movies with like a cartoonish quality injected into it, right? Like the soundtrack.
Sure.
The kid's name is Baby. It's like, what? Like, of course, you have to just kind of accept from the get-go, okay, this is like a sillier version of this, even down to the dialogue in it. First of all, there's way more dialogue in Baby Driver, and it's because they're trying to make it a little over the top, whereas, and to put a counteract, I actually do, even though I like Drive, I do think that one of the things I don't like about it is there's so little dialogue, and there's so many scenes where it's just Ryan Gosling like making eyes at the chick that it takes itself
Christina Hendricks,
seriously. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I catch myself laughing in those scenes because I'm like, fucking talk. Like, nobody actually does that. People talk.
I will say the tones of the movie are caught well by both the actors. I do actually think, like or dislike Ansel Elgort, perfectly cast for that role.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like, would you?
No way.
I mean, looking at him, I go, oh yeah, that guy's perfect for that.
You didn't think he was well cast?
No way.
Who would you have put in there?
Somebody who can handle past horrors in a better way. Like, I think the way they were trying to be serious with all the mom stuff. I don't think the mom singing thing was supposed to be cartoonish. I think they don't pull it off. I don't give a shit that his mom died at all. The entire movie.
Well,
there is something off-putting about him just on the surface. You just go, I don't know about that guy, but I think he was cast perfectly.
Yeah. Did you see what he did? That guy in real life, when all this, when the coronavirus broke out, he just posted like a naked thirst trap where just his dick's covered up, and then he used that to like solicit funds for like relief workers and stuff like that. He was just like, hey, it's a picture of my dick. Click here for more, and it's like it's getting you to
Baby Driver, more like Baby Dick, folks.
Yeah.
Wait, is that true?
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
Wait, so how did he get the money for it? Oh, on like a GoFundMe thing or something? Or like
he posted that picture, and apparently somebody was like, he put it up with the caption like, "Click for the OnlyFans in my bio." But then the link in his bio was just a link to like donate here for like coronavirus relief workers. So he was just trying to like raise funds.
The old bait and switch.
Andy got mad when he got fooled by that one.
Yeah, I know.
But no. So the point of being is that I think what it comes down to is that they both could have helped by one taking itself way less seriously and one deciding if it's going to be full on cartoon or it's not. Like if you're going to do, and you could tell me the whole thing was a comic book and I would have enjoyed it more. But because I don't think that was the goal entirely. I think the dream sequences of the mother from the past, you could chalk that up to being like, it's a comic book. And that's what drives his character by Baby Driver, is that it's a comic book, and that's what makes him like even the mom being like drive baby, whatever. It's almost like swing baby swing from Signs, where that's how he solves the whole thing, where it's like this thing from the past, that's who you become, whatever it is. But I don't think they illustrated that enough, or maybe I missed out on it. Would I have enjoyed it more if it was like
not a perfect movie?
Not a perfect movie, yeah, exactly. Not a perfect movie, but also, you're right, with Drive. But there is comedy. There's a little bit of comedy in Drive with him and the daughter, right? Or him and the son, or whatever it is. And
very, very light amount.
Very light.
It's almost just thrown in there to make him more likable, and it works. It makes him likable.
But I also think that as far as casting goes on Drive, Ryan Gosling's awesome. What's her name? Is it Michelle Williams?
Christina Hendricks.
No, Christina. No.
No, not Christina. Christina Hendricks is in it, but she's one of the bank robber accomplices.
No, it's I forget her name. Not Gretchen Mol. She kind of looks like Gretchen.
She's gorgeous though.
She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think Albert Brooks is amazing in it.
Yeah. Also, I forgot Oscar Isaacson's in that. That's like one of his earlier roles. I didn't realize that.
It's good. Drive, I think.
Oh, yeah, he's the husband. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Drive cast edges out Baby Driver cast for me. You got Albert Brooks. You got Bryan Cranston. Carrie Mulligan was the name we were trying to come up with.
What's that guy? Ron Perlman. He's the
Ron
other bad
Perlman.
guy. Yeah, he's great.
He's
Hellboy.
funny. Do you know, I have a story about him. One time I was in the middle of watching Sons of Anarchy, and so I saw him in the
I thought you were
airport.
I tried to join Sons of Anarchy.
Turns out it's not real.
So I'm like in
He's
the
a
middle of
probie.
that. I'm in the middle of that universe. Like I got so into that movie. I binged it so much that I was like, I just live in this universe now. Like I was like, I'm part of this. And I was like I was in the airport and I saw him and he was coming towards me. I go, oh, what's up, man? I'm like, you think I can get a picture? And he was like, not in airports, bro. That's what he said. And I was like, cool,
It
man.
could have been worse, you know?
It could have been way worse. And I was like,
Yeah.
cool, man, you got it, whatever. But what it comes down to is that he's good in it. He's not the greatest actor of all time, but he's,
I like that cast better than Baby Driver. Is my point.
so do I. Especially because I don't dislike Jamie Foxx. I just dislike him in this movie. And we've talked about it on the podcast before, man. I know John Hamm is a talented guy, but John Hamm just keeps making bad decision after bad decision.
And we've brought this up on the podcast before. John Hamm, I think, is one of the most miscast guys
Yes.
in a lot of
absolutely.
things he does. Like in The Town, he's very
in The
miscast.
Town, which is also another bank robbery movie, and it has to do, and they have
I don't know if I've
chase.
seen The Town all the way.
Town is fantastic.
He just doesn't
underrated
fit in
movie.
a lot of things. He is good. He's great as Don Draper. But then you look at him, maybe he's typecast. But like The Town, you go, there's something wrong. They could have gotten somebody who fit this better.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Do you think it's hurt him that he has, because John Hamm is like known as being like one of the most handsome actors, but he has like a foot in the comedy world. You know what I mean? He always
does, yeah.
does
I
it.
think
He's great. He's funny, but
I think he is funny. I think he probably wanted to be a he's not bad. I saw that movie Tag, and that movie's not that great, but he's not bad in that. Like he's not.
Bridesmaids, he's got that role in which he kind of does. He kind of plays like a dick. That he's like,
I like that. Brad.
I think if it's I hate this. This is going to sound weird. If it's drama that's not old timey drama, like if he's not going to play Don Draper and be that guy again, if it's just drama straight up where you're John Hamm and he has to kind of play himself, like his updated like 2020 self, I think he has a problem with that. I think he might be kind of a silly guy probably if you met him.
Yeah.
With a huge, talking about putting his dick online, a huge penis apparently. But the thing about him is that I think he has and it's very hard to do, just being yourself or whatever, and you're with your penis, yeah. But it's very hard to
that'll
do.
be a topic for another show.
Yeah, yeah.
Penis.
But the bottom line is that I think if you at this point he has enough things that he got miscast in. Just write a show for him where he's just playing Don Draper again. Just do that. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would not care if I saw him in a thing that was like it was a guy who was a president of a bank and it was about banking in the 50s. Yeah, go ahead, go for it. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it's fine. I'm totally fine with that because that's where that guy pulls it off, and he pulls off like he's in a couple things that he does well in. But when it comes to The Town, made me realize I'm like, oh, he can't play a cop. Like, even though you think by the looks of him, like, yeah, you can play an FBI guy. He looks like an FBI guy. He doesn't play an FBI guy.
Mm-hmm. I think it's even down to his hair. You know what I mean? He has hair that belongs in the 50s. In every
Dude, his hair, it's so funny you say that. His hair always throws me off in The Town.
Yeah, it does. It's too. Maybe that's one of the reasons. Maybe it's the look. Like it's too floppy in The Town. His hair's too floppy. Mm-hmm. They should have had it. They should have made him a little bit more of an old. They should have made him act like he was from a different era in The Town. Andy.
Yeah.
They should have had it where even if he was out of date and he was that guy who was like, you're not going to get it. Like the Fred Drebin. That's fucking Naked Gun. But Frank Drebin, whatever.
Do you think that might have been what bothered you in Baby Driver, actually? Because now that I think about it, in Baby Driver, they take that longer hairdo and exaggerate it. They make it into like a hipster thing with him, where it's like shaved on the sides down to here.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe it's
I just couldn't take
throwing us off.
I couldn't take Whole Foods John Hamm.
Yeah, Sam, you didn't have to say that to a bald guy.
Just rubbing it in your face.
Because maybe you just don't like it because of all this beautiful hair.
All right, put on headphones, you fucking asshole. I don't want to mess up my coif, my fucking silver fox coif.
It's not it at all.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, so when it comes down to it, I think cast-wise, I think Drive ekes it out. I think soundtrack-wise, I think as far as the masses go, I'm a hipster with my music, so I like the Drive soundtrack better. But like, no, I'm just kidding. But like I think they both kind of match. They match the. I think that Baby Driver is more traditional in its soundtrack with bank robbing movies, and I think Drive is slower paced, so they matched up. There's a couple of those songs that match up so well with that movie. Yeah, and it's basically they're songs, but they seem like they're scores. Like that's what I wanted to say.
I think Drive is almost all score.
No, it's score, but there's a couple of songs.
Yeah, there's a couple of songs in there.
The songs seem like they're part of the scores. Exactly.
Yeah. It's all very synth heavy, and it's atypical for that kind of movie, and it fits the tone really well. I still like the Baby Driver soundtrack better, but it's just because. It's kind of what you were saying about like the John Spencer song. Like every song that I hear, I'm like, this song. And then the way that they match it up. Yeah.
And you want that. Fun. For a fun movie, you want that. You definitely want that. But I just think it could have been done so much better. But it does leave me. It always left me when I watched every one of those times I watched it. It left me going, did I like it? Like, did I?
Yeah.
Because it has the bones of something that I should love. I love those types of movies. But I think the interaction with Jamie Foxx just killed me. I think that that's it gets to a point with that where I'm like, I just can't.
I'm surprised that these are the things because honestly, I'll tell you that I don't think it's a perfect movie, but I love it. The one part that it loses me on in terms of like tone, and I'm like, this is too ridiculous. Is the girl? She's beautiful, and I like her, but sometimes when she's talking, she's like. Oh, hey, baby, how's it going? Yeah, I'm just here serving up pies. You're like, what the fuck is that?
And you know what that is also? It's no chemistry. That's they have no chemistry. And yeah, you're right. She's like, that's what I mean also, dude. Because you kind of made me think about it differently what you said with before about, I didn't realize it was the Simon Pegg guy. Mm-hmm. And what made me realize it is that if you would have make that just a comic book movie, it would have been so much cooler. Baby Driver as the superhero getaway driver, that would have been a cooler thing. They even make the look of it where they make like, it almost looks like one of those Lichtenstein fucking photos because all the parts in the diner kind of look like those things. Like she looks like a Lichtenstein girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you had that tone throughout the whole thing, like a more subtle Dick Tracy
Get Ham in there. Thing.
You get Ham in there, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, it would have been such a cooler movie, but you don't because you have real world elements to it. If you do up the whole thing, take me on, make it a cartoon, make it a superhero movie, but actually do it. Don't make it where parts of it are in the real world. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, now, I will say, in its defense, I think I agree with you. The Drive, the love story, there's better chemistry there. But again, that is what I mean when I say like it loses me. It almost makes me laugh when I'm not supposed to laugh. Because it's easier to have great chemistry when you have so little dialogue. And he's just having them stare at each other. And I get it. I feel the romantic tension. But it's like, come on, fucking say so. Every scene in Drive where they're together, I just want Ryan Gosling to be like, hey, do you want to get like a fucking sandwich or something? Like, I just want him to be real, you know?
Want to get a couple of Whoppers or something?
I will give you that. You're absolutely right. But I do think there's a talent to even doing it, though. Like, you're right. It gets to a point, it gets a little bit ridiculous. But I think if you had different actors that weren't as good in there, maybe that wouldn't have been pulled off. And it just would have been a bad movie of people just looking at each other and you don't know what they're conveying. Like,
and it's a smarter choice as like a writer and a director. It's like, well, let's not just have him talk the whole time. Let's just let it play out. That is a smarter choice.
And it's told for you from the very first scene. You're told that guy doesn't talk at all. Like that's to the point where even those dudes in the back seat of that car, that great first scene, are yelling at him, and he's just not saying a word. So if you carry on with that type of character the whole movie, it makes sense he doesn't talk. But I think you're right. It does take away from it because you're like, dude. Come on, man. At this point, you would have talked. Like it would have been vulnerable at this point. But it was also their love affair only lasted in the movie. That was what, like a week? Like that was like such a quick thing. So maybe you have them a year down the road, and you have her in a room, and she's like, "Shut the fuck up."
All right, so let me ask you boys this: if it comes down to one thing, because they're both very similar movies, if it came down to the actual driving scenes, which one do you like better? What's cooler? Who's the better driver? Or Drive?
You know what's funny is I was thinking about this right when we started talking because I hadn't seen Drive in probably like 5 years. So I it's on Netflix, and I fast forwarded through it, and I watched the full opening drive scene. And what I think is so interesting about both
badass.
of those, it's really badass.
It's badass.
The drive opening getaway scene, it's shot almost completely from inside the car. It's really impressive, actually. You know what I mean? And it really puts you in the situation. Whereas Baby Driver, I like equally as much, but it's both inside and outside. It's giving you like a bird's eye view of everything. I don't know, man. I think if you're in it just for like the action of it,
Baby Driver.
I really do think Baby Driver has better action past car scenes, you know? But Drive is like full of emotion. Because
it also has more of it.
Yes. Yes.
So, but the thing is, like, but as far as what looks cooler, I think just that opening scene looks cooler than every driving scene in Baby Driver to me. Like, as far as how pulling off the action of it.
Drive has a cooler feel. It has a cooler
Drive
tone.
has a way cooler feel, especially at the end where it's like, there's the part where there's the showdown with the car at the end, and he's just in the car and you can't see it in the window or whatever it is. Like, there's an ominous feel to Drive, and there's a more action movie feel to Baby Driver, and they're letting you in on way more information in Baby Driver. Drive takes such a weird turn. Him putting on that weird him putting on that weird mask at the end and stuff like that. Remember he put on that mask?
Yeah, totally.
Like, it's kind of like, I was like, that's the resolution of this movie. That's how he thought he was going to get pop.
Like, I'm just a mask guy now.
Yeah, I'm a mask. Yeah. But
I know, like, this is petty too. I also just have a hard time calling that kid baby, and like he's like, tell her baby's coming. It's like, come on, can't you call yourself Tim?
Yeah, you got to give me another name, man. I'm not saying that.
Well, that's the thing, because I think also
it just bugs me.
It's more annoying than it is like mysterious. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's more annoying than it's like interesting. It's more just like,
that looked better on paper than it came out, I think.
Because here's the thing, man. That's supposed to be that little trinket of drama throughout throughout that whole movie. That's the whole connection of him being Baby, and then you find out it's because his mom named him Baby, and you know, and then they died in the car. Like, it's a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
And the good thing about Drive, and here's the thing, man. At least Baby Driver tries to. I get it. It tries to give you that backstory and that information. The what you have with Drive is the mysterious stranger. You don't have the backstory.
So he doesn't. They never say his name, right?
No. He's just the driver. He's just the driver. I think.
Yeah. Bryan Cranston calls him Kid.
Which to me is pulling off the baby thing better, because it's sprinkled throughout the movie. You're calling him Kid.
Could have been Baby 10 years down the line.
Absolutely. There you go. That's what I'm absolutely. But the thing about it is, as far as the mysterious stranger thing to me is, I loved, and we all know it from the Joker. And one of the best things about The Dark Knight is him giving those three different stories about how he got the scars, and you don't know about this guy. And the more that you don't see in movies and don't know, and the more information that isn't there, but the more information that isn't there, but kind of dictates who you become, or what you,
the Jaws phenomenon,
makes the cat right the broken shark phenomenon, where it's like, but even character wise, like, I'm more like the man in the white hat is way more interesting than the guy you know everything about, because you can almost dictate what he's going to do. The Baby Driver, once you knew it was like his mom and he's doing it for the money, and you knew his whole story already, and the music was because he was kind of it was because of his mom's songs and all that, and you realize it during the movie. With Drive, you're kind of left wanting more than you are with Baby Driver. With Baby Driver, you kind of don't care about where this guy came from, what he did. With Drive, you probably could have done a prequel about the heyday of this guy driving and what got him into it, and then you would still be just as interested.
You know what I think it is? If I could take like an analogy, like, it's the difference. Like, Baby Driver to me is like Chick-fil-A, where it's like, I just want a good fucking chicken sandwich that I can eat without thinking about. And Drive is like maybe some hometown restaurant where they're like, you got to go here. I'm not going to tell you what's in it. It's very good.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah. So, right, exactly. And to me, what I think, as far as the better film goes, I think that's why Drive is, because it checks all those boxes of a cool movie to me. But as far as depending on the category with action, I think you're right. I think with the actual driving, which, you know, the drive's in the title for both of these movies, I think Baby Driver takes you more on that ride. Yeah. But I think when it becomes to like wow, afterwards where you're like, that was a cool way to do it. I've never seen a movie like that before. I think Drive takes the cake on that. I think it absolutely does. I think Drive takes being more original. I think it's Drive. I think if you're even,
I don't know. I agree with you. It's well done. It's more of an artistic film, hands down. But like Baby Driver, that's pretty original to like take all that. There's parts of it where it's almost like a musical. You know what I mean? And I know that that's like off-putting for some people, but like the music really takes like a central role in it that not a lot of other movies do. You know?
Yeah.
There's movies. I know what you're saying.
In this genre,
it works out really well. But there's other movies that rely on their soundtracks to really tell.
Oh yeah, but in like in a car action adventure.
But for it to be like
trickier.
I like the fact that it's worked into the action a lot into Baby Driver.
Yeah,
that it's real time. It takes you into the movie more definitely.
Do you put any credence into the fact? I mean, Baby Drive is the older movie. It did come first. It did pave the way for Baby Driver.
But I don't think
can't have Baby Driver without Drive.
I don't think they were thinking of Baby Driver at all.
You don't think
when it came? I mean, I'm thinking of Drive at all when they came to Baby Driver.
No, they're totally
different.
It's actually crazy how similar and dissimilar they are. You know?
You know what I think about Drive? I think Drive, the way that I thought of it when I first saw it was that Michael Mann is the director that I have issues with. There's Michael Mann movies that I like. You always like about 2/3 of a Michael Mann movie. I like 2/3 of Heat. Heat could have been a movie that was an hour and 45 minutes, and it's like a 3-hour movie. Yeah. And that happens a lot. Even you see Tarantino, that happened with him because I think he does what he wants now. Obviously, I think he made better movies in the past because he kind of made it more succinct. When it comes to Drive, reminds me of a better Michael Mann movies than Michael Mann. Like the To Live and Die in L.A. You ever seen To Live and Die in L.A.? Drive is a more stylistic, better version of To Live and Die in L.A. And they're totally different movies. But that's where the synth comes in. That synth, that L.A., that driving around, that scenery, that whole look, that 80s. They looked like they were in 80s. They weren't. They were in present day. So I think they took something from the past and made it their own and made it better. Baby Driver, I just think of it as like a kind of has cool. To be honest, Baby Driver is rewatchable. Like I said, I watched it 3 times. Like I watch it for the parts that I like of it, but I also watch it to hate the parts that I hate of it more. Like I almost hate watch Baby Driver, and I hate watch those scenes with Jamie Foxx. And I'm not even a huge fan of Jamie Foxx, but but I really just doesn't help his average with me, you know.
No, another crazy thing is there's not that many like car getaway movies. There's those chase scenes within larger movies.
Yeah, like even The Town has one.
The entire movie based on this one kind of theme, there's not that many that I can at least think of.
Not off the top of my head, no. There's bank robbery movies, and then the getaway is part of it. And then
I mean, like French Connection, famous chase.
Right, chase scenes.
You know, like
even Joker has a famous chase scene. It's not cars, but it's through the city. But I mean, like
Gone in 60 Seconds, I guess maybe.
Even mentioning Dark Knight, that whole chase scene through the I guess it's the race scene. I should say it's racing to get to these. The one shot in Chicago where
while they're delivering Harvey Dent to the
right. But that's the chase scene but it's the bad guys chasing the good guys.
Fantastic! I love that scene.
It's amazing. It's amazing. There's a whole video online that I hate because it illustrates how it's not edited well. And I'm like,
you can't make the internet happy.
But that, me and my sister were talking about that tractor trailer flipping over. They did that. That's one of the best things I've ever seen.
I love that. I love Nolan. He drops the sound out. It's spooky. It's so great, man.
That's a great technique. Dropping the sound out is a great technique. And we bring up Dark Knight.
Joker's got his hair out the window. It's chilling, dude.
Great.
Oh, that is that part. Yeah.
It's
goosebumps.
What, Dark Knight? It's on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. Check it out.
Yeah.
You see it, haven't you?
How do you feel now that we've made a kind of a cyclical thing here? How do you feel about your boy Robert Pattinson becoming the new Batman?
Oh wow!
At first, I don't like it at first, but I'm hoping he can do something with it. But then you hear all these things that he doesn't want to work out for it. He doesn't want to do stuff for it.
What?
There was an article that he said he doesn't want to work out for it or something like that.
That's stupid.
Now, not that I'm like, hey, if he can make it work, go ahead. I'll reserve judgment until I see the movie.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
gotta be
there's any
honest.
sort
I saw
of.
the outfit in the car. I think they had video of. It was like a teaser thing. Did you see that?
I'll
they
give
had-
you a little.
They had,
Oh yeah. It's like him riding on a motorcycle through a graveyard or something like that.
Oh no, it's him next to a car. There's the suit.
Oh, wow.
There's a
I
little
don't
suit.
like. I don't think I like
love
the suit. No, I don't love the suit.
It looks. The neck is weird.
I think he looks. I think he looks more like the Riddler than he does Batman. And here's the camera test. Watch. If you watch this, we're watching the camera test right now, Defenders, just to talk you through it. And if you guys have probably seen it, you can find it online easily. And is that working? Yeah. And it's basically a shadowy video of them. I think like testing out him next to the. It's a really blurry video of him in the outfit. Maybe it'll work better, but I think it works in the shadows. How darkly filmed this one will be, I don't know. I don't
Who's
like when
directing it?
movies are too darkly filmed. I think it's who's directing it. Actually, I don't even know. It's somebody famous too, right?
That's why I asked. I have no idea.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah, it's real hard to see.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's how the movie's going to be, because it's literally, if you're watching this thing, it looks like you're watching infrared, and the infrared is not green, it's red. You know, like it looks like it's
Matt
very
Reeves.
glossy. Oh, Matt Reeves, and he's the Cloverfield guy.
I think it bothers me. Just the remake in general bothers me more than Pattinson doing it. You know what I mean? I mean those Christopher Nolan movies were so good. Even
so good.
I know some people didn't like the third one as much, but I thought it was good.
I liked it as fine.
The third one, you never had a chance. It never had a chance.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah. If a guy dies while you're making it, it's going to be
Never had
hard
a
to
chance.
top. Yeah.
And honestly, the second one was better, but the third one held its own, man. It was good.
Yeah, so does Batman Begins.
There's that Batman Begins.
It's a great trilogy. It's a great trilogy.
It is. And even that scene in the third one about when Batman gets out and he gets in the Batwing and he flies over the cops that are slowly creeping up to the bad guys on the steps, and they see him and they all lose it and they just start rushing the stairs. That's a cool. If people didn't shit on that movie so much, that's an iconic scene in the movie. Like that's like a Gladiator type scene. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know what it boils down to. We got to wrap things up in a little couple minutes, but like, I don't know. What do you think, Andy? Like, you've heard the arguments. What's a better
You
movie?
both made great arguments.
And you kind of have you don't care either way. So did one of us convince you or no?
Well, I think, Sean, you're a little more passionate in your.
I will say this. I like elements of Baby Driver, but because of what I said about the Jamie Foxx thing, if he wasn't in it, I probably would love that movie. I'd not even love it. I would like it way more than I do if he wasn't in it.
That was the tipping point for me. I think I'm leaning toward Drive a little more because I did like both movies, but I like Drive. I like the cast of Drive a little more. It's just a little cooler of a movie to me. There was, like you said, things that kind of annoyed me more about Baby Driver. That I wasn't really annoyed by anything in Drive. I liked it. I thought it was a fine movie. But then it's like, I don't like the kid. I don't like Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
So I think I'm leaning toward Drive. I'm sorry, Sam. You fought a worthy fight.
This was rigged.
Well, here's the thing. This is another thing I go by, Sam, and you tell me if you agree with me here. Another thing I go by is a movie when what they set out to do when they make a movie. Did the movie pull off what the final look or the final feel or what the feeling that you're supposed to get from the movie? Do you think the movie pulled off what it was doing? And when I look at Baby Driver and look at Drive, I think Drive pulled off, even if it's not exactly what they wanted, that's their intent. And I think Baby Driver, I think if you were able to get in the heads of the guy who directed it, I think he probably would have changed about 100 things. You know what I'm saying? I think he would have. It seems like a movie that really got messed with. It could have gotten messed with over time. It was his first outing when it comes to like an action / dramedy type thing. I think that when it comes to Drive, man, it seems like that's one team making that thing the entire way through. It doesn't really deviate. I think Baby Driver deviates a little bit. I think there's a mixed message in tone sometimes. I think it's not as on point as Drive could be. But I'm sure you don't agree with me on that. But I'm just saying, like, I think that's what goes into my thought process, because there's elements of the movie that I like a lot, especially the music, like you said, matching up with the robberies, being in real time, being stopped. There's even him starting the song over again. I don't know if that's ever been done in the movie. That's kind of a cool effect. I like that. Yeah. Where it's like this cool thing of like, it's because they have that movie. It's like, what are you doing? Like, because he's in his own little world. I like that, but I would have also loved that if we that comic book idea with that, I think would have been brilliant. The idea that anything that's just him, he's seeing, even if you just did it, anything that he's seeing in the movie is almost shot in this a gel over it of a comic book look.
Yeah,
like,
you're saying if you're gonna make it cartoonish, go over the top with it.
Go over the top with it. Maybe it's not Dick Tracy or it's not going to be a Marvel movie, obviously, but go over the top with as far as like make all the dialogue like hard dialogue. Like hey, like I think they maybe tried that in ways with the way that Kevin Spacey talks. Listen, baby, I don't know. It's almost like has that J. Jonah Jameson type thing where it's
very much so. Yeah.
So, but do that with everybody. But then don't put and then make Jamie Foxx an actual real comic book villain. I don't know enough about comic books. Maybe there is one like him in it, but he was it just didn't fit. It just didn't fit for me. So that's my last thing to say.
I think, Shawnee, I would like to see the version of Baby Driver where a baby is well, what happened?
Hey man,
when a 4-year-old
baby's day
a
out.
taxi medallion. Whoa!
You get Baby's Day Out,
mister.
Let's give the kid from Baby's Day Out a license, and you got yourself that.
You got a
Sam,
franchise.
Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. I had a great time.
Please come back and do another episode.
All your plugs.
Let's talk about the album. What is the album called?
It's called Sweet Baby Boy. It's on Blonde Medicine, and it's out a week from Friday, so May 29th. It's out on May 29th.
May 29th, and where can people get it? Like
everywhere.
everywhere.
iTunes, Spotify. I got a pre-sale link up now on all my social media. I'm at Really Sam Evans, so just find me there. You can get it.
And you're on Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. Did you have
all of it? Yeah, reallysamevans.com.
Awesome. Cool. And Andy, you want to plug anything?
Yeah, if you want to buy my album, it's a few years old now, but times are tough. Throw the kid a few bucks. It's called Plan B.
Nice to compete with our guests, Andy. Thanks so much.
You should be listening to all the comedy right now. You've got the time. Yeah, you can just type me in Andy Fiore on all social media as well. And if you have SiriusXM, you can listen to my show, The Raw Report, on SiriusXM Raw Dog 99 every Thursday at 4 p.m.
Awesome. And I'm at Shoney Time on Instagram and Twitter, and I have a Sirius show as well. Every Wednesday at 4, we do a show called Celebrate, me and Kevin McCaffrey, that lad. Everybody knows Kevin McCaffrey. And it's a great show. So, guys, Defenders, thank you so much for listening. And remember, rate, review, and subscribe to the show. Tell your friends about it. Let us know what we can do to change. I want to do this thing. There's a guy, you know Jeremiah Murphy? Do you know what Jeremiah Murphy is? I don't know if you know Jeremiah. He does these great things on Facebook. I think he still does kind of stand-up. I haven't seen him in a while, but I think he still does it. Maybe with the quarantine he doesn't, but nobody's doing it. But he has on his account, and you got to check it out. He does a bunch of great matchups.
Oh, cool!
Great matchups. So I kind of want to steal from that, and also have him on. Maybe he can go down. We can do we'll do like a lightning round one time. We go where we'll do. He says the titles, and we just take one. We just do a quick 1-sentence defense. But guys, remember, subscribe, rate, review, and follow us on all the social medias. And yeah, that's about it. And we'll see you next week. Thanks again, Sam. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sammy.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.